Hey everybody, this is Dust Roasted on Gaming with episode 9, match number 1 with Boros Burn here in Modern. As a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, and leaving a constructive comment down below. So, switching things up a little bit in this particular build of Boros from what we played last time. The only thing, main deck's pretty much identical, don't think there's any changes, maybe one of the fetch lands changes depending on the deck I downloaded. The sideboard, the main change was getting rid of the core Firewalkers, although they were kind of key in winning our last matchup for Direfleet Daredevils, which are a little bit more effective in the Black-Green X matchups and still have applications against the Burn Mirror. Still have applications against decks like Just Guy, Blue-Eye Control, could potentially even bring it against Phoenix, although I don't think there are too many things we'd want to bring it in over anyway. Beyond that, the sideboard, we still have the Path to Exiles, the Rest in Pieces, Skullcracks, the Searing Blood, the Cinder Vines. Just still a card that I'm still trying to test, and then Staring Bridge, which is another card that, despite having it in our sideboard for several different leagues in the channel over the past 6 months or so, it's not a card I've had an opportunity to bring in a ton. Cinder Vines obviously pretty good against the Phoenix decks, against Storm, also has utility against Control and Stotch, in addition to being, you know, our kind of default Wear Tear / Destructive Revelry effect. So, not a whole lot changed from last build, other than the fact that we're running the Direfleet Daredevils again, which is something I was testing prior to the printing of Skewer the Critics and Light Up a Stage. Kind of throwing our testing off a little bit. I still like having the 4 Lightning Helix in the main deck. There's a lot of situations where you get into racing situations. It's more relevant than, to me, it's more relevant than Skullcrack in the main deck right now. I mean, obviously there are still matchups, you know, like Soul Sisters, the control matchups, you know, both blue-white and Just Guy packing various forms of either direct or incidental life gain. So, still an important Skullcrack's still an important card to have, but being able to impact the board is quite relevant in Modern, as most games are won on the board as opposed to, you know, on the stack these days. So life gain, while relevant, is a little bit on the downtick because it doesn't really do. Incidental life gain doesn't really do a ton against the 2 top dogs in the format in Izzet, Phoenix, and Dredge, as those decks both tend to have the ability to deal damage in chunks. Obviously, Dredge has Creeping Chill in the main deck, but you can't always line up your Skullcrack effects with those in particular, because you never know if they're going to be, you know, on turn 2 or if they're going to be on like turn 5. So you can't always hold up 2 mana infinitely in those matchups. So, and we'll be on the play, which is good. 1 lander, not as great, but we're going to keep because we have a bunch of 1-drops to play. So let's hope we hit some lands here. Alright, so it looks like we're up against Izzet. Feels like they have a bolt this turn. Yep. Feels like a bolt or an opt or something. Probably bolt. Yep. 16. Once again, we really need to draw a land. Feels like they're on a Phoenix draw more than a, there's a thing in the ice. They must have another bolt here. Because they didn't play, they might have, I was going to say, they had to have some type of 2 mana play to not have played Serum Visions there. So there's the thing. Come on, land, please. so they block here. Obviously, we're gonna bolt. All right. I mean, they're a prerogative. Pass turn. It's keeping their threat off the board. You know that we know they have the crackling drake, so maybe it was kind of pointless to do that here. And it's not like crackling drake's a particularly large size right now. Alright, so they're gonna have a dirty bird. I think we'll just let this go since we have lethal in hand, especially if we draw another land. This might be hardcast Arclight Phoenix. Okay, nope. Looks like they're gonna try to go for multiple Phoenixes back in a turn. Plus, happen to grow their crackling drake here. Yep, looks like this is the... I'm going to try to load up on Phoenix turn. Alright. So we could die this turn. They can somehow chain 4 spells together. Weird game. Feels to me like they might have Bolt and Gutshot in hand. Felt like they might have had Bolt and Gutshot there. This is definitely a matchup where we want to try Ensnaring Bridge. Path to Exile is relevant against their relevant creatures. Searing Blood I don't think does enough. Cindervines as our hate against... both comes in our hate against Dragon's Claw and is incidentally good against what they're trying to do. Cards are not good in the matchup. Lavamancer isn't extraordinary. There's cards that don't necessarily directly impact the board. And cut 1 Skewer, because that can be a little bit awkward. Especially if we're not able to get through with creature-based damage. Definitely got a little bit lucky to win that game. They had a very slow draw, and we got stuck on 1 land for a while. It was one of those hands where neither deck was performing at optimum efficiency. Like, we didn't have an additional land to really unload our hand, and they didn't really have one of their good draws. This is an easy mulligan. That makes things really easy for us. Not really easy, but it's a really good opening hand. So either way, our opponent's going to have to take damage to deal with this Goblin guy. They're either going to have to fetch Shock to bolt this, or they're going to have to just get a tap land and bolt it. Looks like they're going to go with the fetch Shock option. Alright, they get a Phoenix in the graveyard. So hopefully they cannot bring that back this turn. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to deal with Thing in the Ice, so they could take like 6 damage here, flip Thing, and like the fact they have the bolt makes this a lot worse for us. I know they have a Tarn at least in hand. And if they have like Gut Shot or something here. Opponent importantly did not crack their fetch land there. We saw they played Izzet Charm in the main deck, so yep, we're going to get dispelled here. Which is relevant and annoying. Thing, sure. So notably, they haven't been able to bring back that Arclight Phoenix shit. Cindervine's obviously a little awkward here. Have to Helix them. I don't think we have a draw in our deck right now that allows us to survive this next turn. I guess Path would be card of choice here. Alright, so Fast Things in the Ice. Bit of annoyance. They could still have Dragon's Claw in their deck. Double Cindervines is basically a mulligan. Still think we keep this hand. I think this 5-card hand I would keep. So even with these double Cindervines, if we happen to draw fetch land, that'll turn those on. And those are a little bit harder for them to deal with than Eidolon. But that said, the Spire Bluff Canal, which is kind of unfortunate. This is gonna get bolted. There's an Arclight Phoenix. Gotta have an opt, right? Nothing. Wow. Alright. So we got one more turn to draw a thing in the ice, or not a thing in the ice, a green source before they go nuts. I mean, you know this is coming, right? Hopefully they'll just play like another TT or something here. Sweet. Question is, do they have Dispel or do they have something else here? Sweet. Do the thing. That's very scary. It's really debating hard about this last one, whatever it is. Alright. Yeah, well, looting. So we have one turn to draw something relevant here. Pass turn, hope we live. A lot of things kill us here. Bolt kills us. Lightning Axe kills us. Why would you Faithless Looting here? I don't understand. Sure. GG's. So, not quite sure what to make of Cindervines in this matchup after that. Not really sure. Felt nice to get the win. Cindervines might not be the best in the matchup, especially on the draw. And Staring Bridge, if we would have drawn it, probably would have been pretty relevant. Patexo, obviously pretty relevant. So, nice to get out of match number 1 with a win. But this has been Desperate on Gaming. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.